Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Going Umbral. Today, as I said yesterday in Sarens, we are going to be looking at Atlas. Now, before I start, this took a lot of work, this build. Like, unbeknownst to me, I didn't know Atlas had rework. Now, how many of you actually knew that? When I was playtesting Atlas, trying to get his mod set up right, I found out he had a rework during my research. That using his powers actually give him bonus armor and invulnerability during Landslide. So, let's get into this quickly.
Operator. Now get out.
This is a 4-former build.
Cut down the...
We put in
Lotus Proud.
a dash, well, 2 dashes, yeah, 2 dashes, a V, and a dash. And our mod setup is Energy Siphon. With this build, you don't have a huge energy pool thanks to flow. So, Energy Siphon helps you regenerate energy just so you can use your Landslide and your Petrify. Those are going to be your 2 main powers with this build. Cunning Drift. Not so much for the slide and friction, but more for the ability range. I found, when I was playtesting this, that if I had low range, it made getting extra armor from Petrify a lot harder. So thanks to this, I have a booster range. We can petrify enemies in a wide area, landslide into them, and get bonus armor to help us tank up. Hunter's Adrenaline. Because we're running Umbral Vitality, and that's giving us 750 health, and we have 900 armor, it makes sense to use Umbral Adrenaline to help with the energy costs and energy efficiency, and that will also work well with Energy Siphon. So basically, when we take damage to health, we are going to 45% of that damage is coming back to us as energy. Stretch for more ability range. Steel Fiber, 1 off from the max, 1 I didn't have enough endo, 2 I wouldn't have been able to fit on this build even if I did max it out. I have 1 capacity slot. If I did want to use that 1 level, I would probably use it in Transient Fortitude just for some more strength. Right, Fleeting Expertise. We're not going to be using duration based abilities. While Petrify is a duration based ability at heart, by the time you landslide into those enemies, they're going to be downed quite fast before they even unfreeze. So the duration down doesn't really hurt Atlas unless you're using rumblers, and we only use rumblers when we really need them to take the damage so we can back away. Transient Fortitude for strength. Again, duration is not bothering us. Ability strength is going to affect your landslide, the rumblers if you do use them. It also affects your petrify. I will bring up the abilities tab in a minute and we will go through them. Streamline. Now this was the mod that I didn't realize I needed in this build. Prior to this, I was using natural talent for the cast speed, but I didn't find it necessary. I like the increase in casting speed. However, for the longest while, I just couldn't get Atlas right. And then when I switched natural talent for streamline, it just clicked. The build felt complete to me. It's what I wanted Atlas to be. We have Umbral Intensify for even more power strength. As you can see, with Transient Fortitude, and Umbral Intensify, we are sitting at 185 power strength. We are also sitting at 160% range and 175 efficiency. So our abilities are quite cheap, they reach very far, and they're going to hit hard. These are the main three things for Atlas. So first of all, Atlas has a very unique passive and a very handy one as well. Basically, as long as his feet are touching the ground, Atlas becomes immune to knockdown effects. So the ground slam from a heavy gunner or a bombard, Atlas just shrugs it off. It doesn't affect him. So it's a very handy for high-end missions. So you're not getting knocked down, you're not being mowed down while you're on the floor. It just works so well. Right, Landslide. Bash enemies with an explosive sliding punch. And repeat for devastating combo. Petrified enemies take extra damage and drop rubble when destroyed. Rubble can heal Atlas and bolster his armor. Now, this is part of the rework. Basically, when you petrify an enemy, using Atlas is free, and you landslide into them, as it said there, you will heal and get extra armor. Now the extra armor can go up to 1,900. That, coupled with the 900 we already have, is 2,800 armor. We become unkillable if you can maintain the maximum armor. As you can see, without the mods, this is what our powers would currently stand at. But with the mods, we have doubled the damage of Landslide, as well as put an extra 1.2 meters on the reach.
Tenno, a new alert
The
has
combo
been
window does suffer
on navigation.
to duration, but honestly, you're going to be using Landslide so often, you can maintain the combo. Tectonics, I never use Tectonics. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't find it that useful. Don't get me wrong, if you're running low on health, you can always just throw off a Tectonic wall. And much like Rhino's Iron Skin, I believe any damage that Tectonics takes in the initial cast actually gets added to its health. So, you know, plus I think it's scaling with Atlas's health as well as his power strength. So as you see with this build, we have 11,100 health. On Tectonics, explosion damage is also quite nice. However, again, I never really use Tectonics, so that's not one of the main focuses. Petrify. When I was playtesting Atlas, I found myself going to this ability quite a lot. And at a 19 energy cost, it's quite cheap. So, Atlas's hardened gaze will fossilize foes, heal rumblers, and create petrified bulwarks. When shattered, petrified enemies drop healing rubble for Atlas. Now, this works well with Landslide. Because of the obscene damage that Landslide is going to do, you can literally petrify a group of enemies, landslide into them, and then KO all of them. And I have done that during playing testing. I have petrified a large group, landslide, get 2 combos up, and during the uppercut, you are going to knock them all out. As you see, the duration takes a hit, but honestly, 4 seconds is plenty of time for you to get in there. We have Atlas. Rumblers. They only last for 9 seconds. I found myself only using Rumblers as a decoy. If I needed health and I had to go behind an enemy to get it. So, Rumblers. Summon 2 elemental stone brawlers to the melee. Summoning petrifies enemies in close proximity to Atlas. When finished, Rumblers collapse into a pile of healing rubble. So, if you need health, Rumblers can also restore your health when they expire, and with a 9-second duration, they're going to expire quite quickly. Not only that, as it says there, you can petrify enemy upon casting. So you have a 9.6 meter stone radius, but to petrify your enemy. But at 25 energy cost, I found myself not really using it. Now, I was quite happy with how this build was performing. Originally, I was using the Arcatitron with Atlas, but on further testing, it didn't work out too well. I found with Atlas you need a melee weapon with fast, rapid strikes, and that is where the Prisma Obex comes in. So this is a one former build. I have Grim Fury. Obviously, as you max out your mods, you are going to need more former. So, what makes this build so special? The damage, not really there. However, where this weapon shines is its 96% status. And that, coupled with Healing Return, which restores 7 health per status type on the enemy, you're going to be inflicting status quite often and getting 7 health for each one of those statuses, which means it is going to easily sustain Atlas. Pressure point, because Landslide does scale off damage mods on your weapon. Prime Fury, again, attack speed does affect Landslide. Dual cast elemental mods, heat, toxin and cold, for viral and heat, as well as buffing up our status chance to 96%. Drifting contact for an extra 12% status, and combo duration. Entropy detonation. Now, this very much goes in toe to toe with Hunter's Adrenaline and Energy Siphon, because although the abilities are no good to us on entropy detonation, it does give the Obex a syndicate bomb. And entropy, for those who don't know, restores some of your energy and increases your maximum energy, which couples very well with Atlas, because more energy means more punches means more efficiency. Speaking of efficiency, we are going to head into Sanctuary Onslaught, see how Atlas performs. Right, Sanctuary Onslaught, 20 to 30, let's go. Yeah, this took a lot of work. I was up a majority of the night trying to figure out what mods to put on Atlas, what weapons to use. But honestly, I must say, I'm very happy with how this build performed. I just play tested it before I started this, and it went very, very well. Right. As you can see, just killing those 3 enemies, we've got 150 extra armor. As you can see here, people, we've only done that, what, 3 times? And we nearly have 500 extra armor. So, if you can maintain a high armor using Petrify and Landslide, well, you can become nearly unkillable. Now, what I will say, Healing Return will struggle against high level enemies, because essentially they're going to be doing more damage than you can regenerate. However, if you have arcane, I believe it's grace. If you have arcane grace, I would highly suggest you put that on Atlas, because what that does is when you take a hit to your health, you have a chance to get health back. Get out of here. Likewise, you could also put Arcane Energize, or when you pick up an energy orb, you will regenerate a bunch of energy. And I think, keyword, think, it does stack with the Xeneric passive that gives you extra energy when you pick up an energy orb. Yeah, the one thing with Atlas, enemy energy leeches and parasite Xmas, they need to be taken care of pretty much ASAP. As soon as possible, people. But there have been times when I've gone to use my powers and I've found out a parasite has drained me dry. Also, a very good primary weapon that does work with Atlas is the Phantasma. I have to admit, the Phantasma is really giving the Corinth a run for its money. Because so far, not only does it work with Saren, it's working with Atlas to give him a much needed range attack when his energy is down. As you see, we got 300 armor from that. Let's grab this efficiency. See, now thanks to the range, we can petrify enemies quite far. And we can landslide them quite far as well. And honestly, using this build, I think I'm going to be... let's try that again. I think I'm going to play Atlas a bit more. Because before, I don't know, something about him just didn't appeal to me. I like playing the Brawler class, but for some reason I never really thought of Atlas for that role. But now I can achieve high armor and survivability. I think Atlas is going to get a lot more playtime from me. In fact, the next Let's Play Warframe I do, which is going to be, I believe it's not Sedna. Ares? I think it's Ares. Basically the infested planet. I think I'll use Atlas.
I have opened a new data core.
So, zone 3 and 50% efficiency. Can't speak today, man. As you can see, we're at 1300 armor. That is quite a lot. That coupled with the armor we do have makes it at least over 2000. And when you're not out of energy, the Prisma Obex will smash stuff. As you can see here, it's quite confidently taking care of these infested. Leading parasites, man. Okay. However, due to the fast attack speed of the Prisma Obex, it will become quite challenging to control. Right, switch to the Plasma. Yeah, there's not really much else to say. I think I've achieved the build that will make Atlas see a lot more playtime for me. I think the main thing that bothered me about Atlas was his survivability. Now the damage was there, like there's no arguing that. But the fact that he had no way of getting his health back, that bothered me a little bit. But with this, I can say I am very happy with how it performs. So I think for the next one we will do... Part of me really wants to do Banshee, just to see what we can achieve. But at the same time, I kind of want to do Ivara. Or maybe Volt. Ooh. That could be interesting. Time for you to get stoned. In traditional method, we are going to end it at Zone 4. But as you can see, Atlas is smashing stuff. He can maintain his health, he can smash stuff, and to boot, he looks good doing it. So, honestly, what more could you need from a Warframe? No, Snugglepuss! Why you gotta die on me, buddy? One punch! But let me know, what do you think about Atlas? Personally, I like him more. Now the ability to bolster your armor with petrified just makes it so good. Like, I'm actually curious to see... Oh, wrong button. I'm curious to see if I can take a level 150 heavy gunner. And would I survive if I had the maxed out armor? And how much health would I have left?
This experiment will fail if your efficiency drops further. A new data conduit is open. Our experiment moves to a new zone.
And the crowd control from Landslide as well.
The conduit is closing fast.
I've been able to hit multiple enemies. Just A minus.
Hunter,
Not
the
bad.
sanctuary will go on without you.
So final thought for Atlas. He's definitely better than he was. It took a lot of work, a lot of tweaking and playtesting, but finally I have an Atlas build that I'm happy to take into missions. Now he can survive, he has the energy efficiency, he has the energy regen, and the health, the healing factor of the Prisma Olbex, and that coupled with his absurdly high damage anyway, just makes Atlas that bit more spicy. So, I'm actually going to end it there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Well put together.
I have to say this, do this
Now
in
get out
proper
there and
fashion, Atlas.
Cut down
Say bye-bye.
make the
Bye-bye, guys.
lotus.